Teix 2022 or 296 degrees. Teix is one of the wines that has been with us from the beginning, meaning that it's one of the wines that we have always produced. So it's not a new wine. What is new this year is that it's primarily Caillet. We have always wanted Teix to be one of our local wines, meaning the proportion of one of the local grapes, here Caillet, should be rather high. However, in the first vintages, that just not has been possible because Caillet is a plant, a variety, a grape variety, that needs quite a few years to get strong enough in the vineyard to produce wines of complexity. This is something that people at Mallorca always have said. No, you cannot produce a red wine, or not even a wine, from Caillet until the plants are like, I don't know, 50 years old. Well, there is a grain of truth to that. They don't need to be 50 years old, but indeed, when they were 3-4 years, it was very difficult to produce a red wine from them. So much, in fact, that we the first year actually made a white wine from the Caillet and blended it into another of our white wines. This is the first year, 2022, where the Caillet was so complex, such a serious wine, that we decided to actually make almost 100%. It's not 100%, it's 93% of Caillet, because it really, really brings out what Caillet, textbook picture of Caillet, which I'll come back to in the tasting. We have still decided to blend in 7% of Merlot from a barrel, but just to give it a little bit more of muscle, a little bit more of grasa, would you say in Spanish, a little bit more fat here, just to beef up the volume a little bit, round the edges off, give it a bit of a sexiness, basically. So, but it's still 93% of Caillet, which you indeed can smell. So Caillet is a very particular variety. It has an expression, an aromatic expression, that you cannot really compare to any other grape variety. It does not compare to Grenache, to Cabernet, to Syrah, nothing. It's, to me, almost poetic because it combines a specific kind of red fruit that is very sour, acidic, so sour cherries in a good way, licorice, cranberries even, pomegranate, and that cherry note, and even some raspberry, but like crisp red berries with a touch of licorice, and then with a bit of tobacco leaves as well. It's like sour and sweet at the same time. It's very unique, and I love it. There's a lot of people that don't like it, so it's a bit of a wine that divides the waters. Either you love it or you find it a bit strange. Absolutely the same on the palate. It's fresh, it's crunchy, it has the same red fruit, a lot of cranberry, a lot of pomegranate, a lot of cherry. And then it's almost like a forest in the summer, that dry, leafy smell, taste to it as well. Tobacco leaf come very much on the palate. It's unique, it almost has a bit of sweetness. And again, a lot of the wines from the last vintages has this feeling of sweetness, but they're absolutely dry. There's no sugar in at all. It's just the perfect point of maturity of the grapes that gives this touch of taste of sweet fruit, but no sugar. Of course, dry wines, don't worry. It even has it comes out in the nose now as well, and I noticed on the palate, it has a touch of smokiness in the finish, which is very particular, and I really, really love it. And it makes me think about what to eat with this. It's definitely a wine that you can serve on its own, even a bit chilled. But I would love to try this with what we here in Spain call cecina, which is dried, sometimes slightly smoked beef. In Italy, it would be bresaola, and then just with a bit of olive oil and a bit of Parmesan cheese. So basically a classic carpaccio, but with dried beef instead. I think that would be really great for this. So dry, meaty, the sweet tone from the meat, the smokiness, that is definitely something to try. The glass I chose for Teix this year is Riedels, of course. It's the Syrah glass that they call the Old World Syrah glass, meant that it's designed for wines from the Rhone Valley in France. Those grape varieties are growing under the same, or not the same, but slightly similar climate to Mallorca, so maybe that's why it works so well.